District 19 Schoolhouse was originally located in the southeast section of Attleboro, known as Muggsville. Now it would simply be called the corner of Wilmarth and Slater Streets. The area was called Muggsville as John Muggs owned a large tract of land and a sawmill in the area. The wood most likely came from that particular sawmill for the school. Erected in 1819, is one of the oldest schools in Attleboro. William Pike, also known as Wonder Pike, was the architect and builder. He was paid $40 for building the 20 by 16-foot schoolhouse, and the district furnished the material. In 1848, the building was newly furnished at a cost of $200. In 1870, an acre of land was purchased and the house was set back from the street. The building was enlarged to 28 by 16 feet. Sometime after 1870, new windows were put in, the entries removed, and a 230 square foot addition was added to the rear of the building. The building served as a school until 1902, when the students were then moved to the Briggs Corner School, which is still standing on Oak Hill Avenue and is used for other purposes. The school was then sold and used as a private residence until being discovered during a development project. In September of 1997, the inner core structure of the school was salvaged, and a fundraising effort took place to reconstruct the schoolhouse as it was in the early 1800s for both educational and historical purposes. The project got started when we were visiting then Ward 4 City Councilor Robert Shark. He was concerned about the building, and we took a walk down to look at it. In my mind, it needed to be saved. The builders, Caponegro Land Corporation, had already tried finding a home for it in such places as Sturbridge Village, but it made sense to try to keep it in Attleboro. The building was taken apart board by board and tagged with numbers for reassembly purposes by a company from Norton. It was stored in several locations in Attleboro while fundraising and logistical plans such as a location could be secured. Among the many fundraising projects held, the one that will remain as part of Muggsville history was a keychain made and donated by the Attleboro jewelry makers. A contest was held in grades 1 through 4 to come up with a design. The winning drawing was done by Haley Crest. The piece was crafted from the design and signed on the back by Haley. It took 3 years to fundraise, select a site, and get through permitting processes. A site was chosen next to Studley Elementary School, where students would be able to go over and have programs to learn about life in an 1800s schoolhouse. In 2000, the site was surveyed and cleared to get ready for the foundation, which, if you notice, the outside is made to look like it is entirely made of fieldstones. The tagged wood was laid out in the high school parking lot to determine which pieces were in usable condition, in addition to where the pieces fit into the building. Structural engineer Al Pilblad donated his expertise to facilitate this process. Additional period wood was used from the parsonage house owned by the Sun Chronicle that sat on South Main Street. While the parsonage house was demolished, parts of it were used to restore District 19. Trying to keep this still an educational project, students from Attleboro High School's carpentry classes began putting the framing together in October of 2001. This was a great way for them to learn and work on post and beam framing. They installed the vertical corner beams, horizontal beams with pegs and supports, built the wall structures, and installed them, making sure the door and window openings were accounted for. The 2x4s on top of the walls were next to form the ceiling, and the roof rafters were built, creating the top of the school. When framing was up, it was time for the volunteer carpenters, taking direction from Chuck Bradshaw from Attleboro High School. We set out to put the first sideboards up on a frigid day the weekend before Christmas on 2001. We continued weekends through January, getting the side and roof boards nailed on. It was then covered up for the winter. As spring of 2002 arrived, the building was uncovered and work began again. The shingles were nailed on the roof and clapboards put on the sides of the building. The windows were installed as well as the door and shutters, which were made by the students. The period hinge for the door was donated. Finally, the floorboards were put in and painting began with the help of the Attleboro Rotary Club. finishing touches, such as the flagstone step from the parsonage house, was placed on December 5th of 2003, and a handmade wooden flagpole ordered from the Cape flying a period 21 star flag. Early 2004 saw the carpentry students making a criteria 1800 benches, and we had a headmaster's desk donated, which was to the period of the school. Handicapped access was figured out by using gravel grading to keep an authentic look. Lastly came the installation of the sign, and we were ready to dedicate the building for the enjoyment of the community on May 23rd of 2004. The first class for students was held in June of 2004 by Betty Fuller.